Hello everyone, and welcome to Thrifty Canoe. So we're going to do a live review today, and I'm going to be looking at the Blue Mule from Ryder. So let's all just kind of gather in, and we'll get started just real quick here. So we're going to be looking at this guy right here. This is the Blue Mule from Ryder. This is model number RR2172. And thing I like about this particular series of knives is that it's one of those things from Ryder that actually hit the mark. I mean, a lot of the times we've had some pretty decent ideas from Ryder that they just never really quite executed on, and in this particular series I think they pretty well got it just right, because they're looking for a very simple, straightforward series to make, and no nonsense knives. And you can see they even put work knives on here. Blue Mule, that would kind of indicate that they're like a working type knife too, by the name of it. So they got the name right, and I think they got the idea behind the series right. But this is the model we're going to be looking at. This is the RR2172 Canoe, and you can see it's got some G10 handles there. Now, I'm a fan of blue in general, but you know, this isn't like the most attractive blue color in the world. But again, we're just looking at like a very no nonsense type knife, and that's kind of why I like it. You can see the pattern and the G10 there. But you got the plain stainless bolsters. There's no RT on these, even in the days when they were still making RT knives, you know, with the RT bolster. And you've got the match strike pull on there. Brass liners. You can see that's pretty well constructed. Just a minor gap there in the middle, but you know, on canoes you kind of do get a little bit of a gap in the middle sometimes, but otherwise it's pretty solid. And you get the spear point blade, and this is just a satin finish. There's no mirror polish to it or anything. It's pretty basic. There's your Ryder tang stamp, one of the more recent tang stamps they started using there. And you get the nickel silver pins. And then on the other blade, it's the pin blade. And again, same tang stamp. You get the match strike pull on that one as well. But the thing that's great about this series is, in this particular pattern, the Canoe, frequently, and especially from Ryder, you'll have pulls that aren't that strong, right? They're, I don't know, maybe about a 5, something like this. But this particular knife, you get a solid lockup, and I'd say that pull's probably about an 8. So work knife it is. They kind of knocked it out of the park with the design concept and the execution on these Blue Mule knives, excuse me. So for that reason, that's why I really like them, because they're not trying to be anything they're not. They're exactly what they were intended to be, and that is why I like this particular pattern in general. And listen to the snap. I mean, that's locking up hard right there. That's a good execution on a good idea, and so I give Ryder props for this series of knives. Now you'll remember I also did a review on this guy. Same idea, right? This is a big little beast. Same kind of thing. You know, you get the great lockup on the sunfish too. So whether you're looking for something a little larger or something a little smaller, I would take a look at these two for sure if you're into canoes or sunfish and you just kind of want a toolbox knife to throw around, beat around. This G10 is going to take a beating, and these two knives are pretty rugged. Good lockups, good users, not going to fold down on you. Of course, the Canoe always creates that natural finger choil at the front there when you open it up, so it's a super comfortable knife. But I just give Rough Ryder props for this series, and I think it's overlooked. I think people don't really understand it. They just look at the handle and go, "Oh, that's ugly. I don't want to pay any mind to that." But that's kind of the point. They aren't really meant to be pretty. They're meant to be work knives. So for that reason, I really like this series, and that pretty well does my review of the Canoe. But I want to talk about some other things as well. Just one of the reasons why I wanted to go live, just kind of do a little bit of a ramble here. I'll go ahead and just open these blades up so you guys get something to kind of look at here while I'm jibber jabbering. Again, this is model number RR2172 for those that came in a little late. Blue Mule Canoe. And this one is, let's see what the model number is on this one. 2173 for the sunfish. Alright. But, kind of want to introduce, well, first of all, I want to kind of catch up on the chat here, so let me have an opportunity to read a little bit what you guys have said. And we'll go from there. But we're going to talk about a few things that I don't normally talk about on the channel, and kind of get a little bit of a feeler for some of the, maybe some minor changes in the channel. Just kind of get a feel for what you guys think of it. I've been exploring more and more modern knives, and so I'm probably going to be doing some modern knife reviews. Not a lot. I mean, they're not going to amount to more than, they'll certainly be less than 10% of what I review. But there's a few things that I think are budget worthy that are worth mentioning, and I kind of want to talk about those things. Had the opportunity to kind of really explore some of these modern knives, but I don't want to belabor them. I know you guys primarily come here for traditionals, and that's what you're primarily going to get. But I see so many knife channels that you know, either talking about a new modern knife, you know, every other day or whatever, and I kind of get bogged down in all the different modern knives, and I feel like a lot of them are, well, pretty much, they're not dissimilar enough to be interested in them. They just kind of all blend together after a while, a lot of them. So that's kind of been my take on the contemporary stylings of knives. But there are certainly some aspects of modern knives that I really enjoy, and I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, from a traditional point of view, some of those things that interest me. But one of those things is an axis lock on a modern knife. To me, that makes the knife super fidgety and just a lot of fun to play with. Even if you're not using it, you can just be sitting there watching television and playing with your knife. And of course, a Benchmade's going to be the most popular style axis lock that you have. So I kind of went out to pursue trying to find a knife that had an axis lock that wasn't expensive, to kind of get the pleasure of the fidget without spending a ton of money. And I sort of found that. I'm still kind of on my exploration at this point. But right now, this is the best example I have of that. And this is a Gonzo 760 or FB7601. They're all the same model. I think they just kind of slightly change some minor tweaks and then they renumber it. But this is the This has been known as the 760, but this one in particular is the FB7601. But if you actually look at the blade, it says FB760. Alright, now they've got 440 steel on this, and it's made by FB Knife, but it's the Gonzo brand. Right, and it's just become a favorite little fidget knife. Learn to kind of see, every time I think about opening the knife, that's when I fail on it. It happens every time. But I've just been fidgeting with it, learning to open it with my thumb, and of course, me being left-handed, it's really best for me to try to handle a knife before I buy it, because I don't know how comfortable it's going to be, or if it's going to be something that I can open. Most designs are obviously for right-handed people, but when I find a axis lock that gives me a shot as a lefty to have a fidget knife. But this this Gonzo FB7601, it needs a little work once you buy it. It's not going to just come straight out of the box being smooth and everything that you probably want, particularly from a left-handed user. So I don't know, there's some videos out there where you can take the scales off, and there's some Omega style springs in here. If you kind of cinch those down a little bit, it makes this axis lock a lot less stiff. I'm able to actually use the lock with one fingernail. To me, it's too awkward to try to use the two-handed pull down, because if you look, one of the issues with this knife is you don't have a lot of purchase on the sides to access that lock. So doing it kind of with my thumb like this actually makes it easier to pull it down. But in order to do that, you have to loosen up those springs a little bit. Of course, this is from a left-handed perspective. I think if I was right-handed, that wouldn't nearly be as much of an issue. But these are, $20 knives. And you're looking at like a, probably $150 for the most basic Benchmade bug out, which is probably the most popular Benchmade right now with the axis lock. So anyway, just something to consider. I'm still on the journey of trying to find the best, axis lock modern in an affordable price. So maybe at some point this won't be the one I go with. But I can tell you, I bought another Gonzo. I do have that right here. And I'm not thrilled with this one. This one, I tried to loosen the springs no matter what I did. It's just too tight. The axis lock on this one just was, it's just not, I couldn't manage it. Not with left-handed. I could do it right-handed, but not left. Let's see if I can get the model number on there. It's, this is the 727S. I don't know how clear that's going to be on the video there, but there you go. This one, you can pull it down, but then it doesn't come all the way down far enough that you can actually get it to fold in on one shot. But whoa, yeah, don't do that. But yeah, you can still fidget it, but it's just a lot more difficult, and again, it won't go all the way shut. So anyway, just my little short take on some modern stuff that I'm looking at, trying to present a knife that kind of compares with the Benchmade in functionality. You're never going to get all the quality from the blade performance and all that, but at least you could have a knife to have some fidgety fun with. So there you go again. The model number on that one again, just in case you guys missed it, was the FB7601 from Gonzo. Okay. Another little thing I wanted to show is if you're working on modern knives or any kind of project really, and I have an affinity for the interchangeable bits. I've got the Weha set here, and these are just the hexagon 1/4 inch bits that you have. So when I bought this, I saw that the little stubby driver it comes with would match up to this. the little Weehaw stubby. I wasn't really that impressed with what it was, so I thought I would try to find something a little more, I don't know, a little more quality made. And I stumbled onto this. I was actually watching, oh goodness, I can't think of his name. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he used this iFixit style drivers, but they were like little minis. And I saw this and I was like, well, this will work with anything. You just interchange the bits. Of course, it's magnetic, and so if you just take one and put it at the tip, they just magnetically lock right in there. You can hear that. Let's put that up to the mic. So yeah, real nice. So you get your Weehaw bits, and then you get this nice all aluminum handled screwdriver, quarter bit driver. And the thing that's nice about it, you can see this sort of triangular shape to the body of it. Let's see if I can get that to focus a little better. It's kind of hard to see all the way around it, but you can see the shape there. So it's kind of easy to grip down here at the bottom of it, and then you've got this knurled part up here, and then this part spins real super smooth, so you can kind of palm it, you know, as you're palming it spin. It's just a really nice quality driver, and you can get these on Amazon for $14.99. And here's the model number to that. This is the IF145-439-1, and it's called the Mahi quarter-inch bit driver. Of course, made in China, but it is super well built. Matter of fact, we can just kind of weigh this. Just kind of get an idea of how hefty it is. Yeah, that's like almost 5 ounces of material there, so that's with the bit in there, but you know, on its own it's 4.8. So that's a solidly built, all aluminum, and again you got the little magnetic head in there, so it locks your little Weehaw bits in there just perfectly. So there's that, guys. I thought that would be something interesting to show. I know everybody's looking for good tools. I really appreciate good tools, and this is solid built, nice driver. And of course, if you haven't already seen these Weehaw bits, you know, you get the little case, and this pulls out, so you could extend that if you needed a little more length. You just put that in there, right? Who doesn't always need a little more length, right? So there's that, and of course your bits. This goes from 5 up to, I don't know, goes in a row for quite a bit, and then it starts skipping as you get into these higher sizes, but it's going to have all the ones you need for most of your knife preparing duties. So there's that. Another little thing is got a project I'm looking forward to. You guys probably watched the video I had. Well, you may have watched it, I don't know, on my experience with buck knives return policy. I had such a good experience with that. I was like, well, if I ever run into another buck 110, you know, cheap price, I might go about doing that again. Just because, you know, when you send these in, it's only like $10 to have the blade replaced and have it get a spa treatment of it. They shine these bolsters up, they lacquer the handle, they do a whole refurb of the exterior of the knife. And this knife blade, just like the first one I sent in, is shaved down. So you're looking, we can kind of compare this to a full size buck 110. Kind of get an idea of just how much blade's been removed, right? So a good 3/4 of an inch of the blade is missing, and so it just needs a new blade. But I didn't pay, I think I paid $12 for this. You know, which may seem like a lot even then, but when I know I only have to pay 10 to have basically a new knife, ends up being 22 bucks for a brand new Buck 110. That's not too shabby. So now this one was actually a 2-dot. If you guys are familiar with Bucks, it's got the dot on either side of the 110. So this is a pretty old one, and you can tell it's older too because it has more squared off bolsters on it. So I would guess this one is probably 70s, something like that. It's an older one, and it needs a lot of care. That wood's pretty dried out, but the action on it's still good. Still locks up really good. So there you go. There's another little project coming forward. Gonna probably take a peek at that whenever it comes back after I've sent it, and kind of evaluate if they are consistent in doing the knives really good. So we'll give it a, basically have two examples to turn to see how they've done, and won't just be one flash in the pan. Anybody could do something right one time, right? But I think 2 is a bigger sample size, and maybe I'm expecting great things, but maybe it'll be different next time. Who knows? All right, but I'm going to catch up on the chat, just kind of answer any questions and kind of look at some of these comments here. See what else I might have missed. Yeah, Jason Brown, I like Rough Riders without the R slant bolsters too. It has ruined a lot of the knives, and that's why I created that RT emoji, whatever it is, because I called those RT bolsters rectal thermometers, because they rub people the wrong way. Yeah, Jose, the blue color's not that bad. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but it's okay. And Benchmade is talking about how left-handedness is a disadvantage. I think a lot of companies ignore the 10%. It's not worth it to them to market to left-handed people. It never has been. So I don't expect that to change, but at least there's times when they allow you to change the position of the clip when that's at bottom. But many times I just take the clip off entirely. Firebird makes some great knives. I used to have several and have given them away to friends. Yeah, Rusty, I agree. And if I wasn't looking for an axis lock, that would be even easier, because they make some pretty good flippers. It's just that unfortunately the Gonzo knives have that tough spring on them, and you have to do a little work on them afterward to get them just right. I'm assuming you're talking about, William, I'm not sure which knife you're talking about, with the camo cover. I guess probably the Firebird, the Gonzo. Yeah, and Benchmade said that he has to get cut for any knife to be officially broken in. I know that feeling. Jose says, I'm a lefty, but I always carry in the right pocket and switch to the left for precision. Kind of, yeah. I mean, I can operate most knives right-handed. I've been forced to be pretty good with my right hand, just because that's the predominant hand of most people, and I'm forced to use things in a right-handed way. Yeah, and I agree with you, William. The Blue Mule series seems to be the lowest priced ones, and they really are great. They really did a great job, especially of the pull on that. I mean, if you guys missed this, let me open that up again for you guys that might have missed it. But just listen to this lockup. I mean, that's solid. And in most canoe patterns, like I say, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that 8 pull on that. You're going to get like a 5, something like that, which is all right. But if I had my preference. Yeah, 112. Yeah. Got a 110 light coming tomorrow. First 110 for JK. Congratulations, JK. That's exciting. Light. Yeah, those are really light. Yeah, I did that, Rusty. Exactly what you're talking about. I took both scales off, compressed the springs, and it did make this one quite a bit better. But this black one that I showed earlier, there's nothing making this thing better. I did everything I could to the springs, and it's just too stiff. It's just a poor design. I mean, I can make it work, but you're talking about light. You know, you gotta. I mean, every time I do that, look, it puts a dimple in my finger. It shouldn't be like that. Every single time I do it. So, to me, that's just ridiculous. They can do better than that. And the problem with this one also, like I said, is the purchase on the sides. You don't have enough to pull it down. They made the scales a little too thick. So now the axis lock is kind of hard to access in the normal way. Your fingers just kind of slide off. So that's why I use my finger like that. Kind of a pointed at it. And that works. Yeah, it took a while to break in. Yeah, okay, maybe I'm being impatient, but I mean, if this one's this way after adjusting the springs and this one's this way after adjusting the springs, I will just stick with that one. I will say this one's a more comfortable knife to handle, but it is a little, you can see it's quite a bit smaller. It's probably a good 1/2 inch smaller. So, anyway, I think I'll probably just return this one and stick with this one. Just stick with that one. I don't need a bunch of gonzos. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about this knife. This has kind of been the talk of the town around the immediate community. Jersey did a review of this and talked about his story behind how he had to acquire it. And I'm just happy that the seller had as many as they did. I hope anybody that was wanting this one got a hold of it. I know they did go pretty quick once I did the actual video. I had put up a community deal alert, you know, just in the under the community section, and they stayed around. I guess not a lot of people saw that, but then once I made the video, they disappeared pretty quick. But this is a pretty cool pattern. I didn't even know at the time that Rough Rider made this pattern, so pretty happy to have found that one. So I think I said in the review that this was mother of pearl. After I've looked at it, it's obviously abalone. So I'm not sure what the description, you know, descriptions of the Rough Riders. There are a lot of them lost and gone and never to be found again, because once they discontinue the knife, they get rid of all the marketing and they don't put it up on the website, which drives me crazy. I'd like to be able to look at a lot of the older knives, but only maybe half of the stuff that's been discontinued is still up on roughriderknives.com or whatever their website is. I don't remember now, but they don't do a very good job of archiving their material. But the material that was available said that this was a, you know, mother of pearl, and looking at it, it's pretty obvious it's abalone. But anyway, so I just wanted to make that little correction there. Some people were mentioning that, and they were absolutely correct in saying that I got that wrong. So there you go. But that pearl, imitation pearl, is really nice. It's just a cool looking knife. So congrats to anybody who got a hold of one of those. I put that knife in a tuxedo. Yeah. You got the 760? Yeah, that is it's a very well built knife. You can see the liners. They go the length of the handle, and it's pretty heavy too. It's probably about 3.25, 3.5 ounces. So it's not the lightest knife in the world. Actually, it's more than that. I'm thinking about a different knife. Let's do a little quick measure. Got enough room on here. It's not a light knife. There you go, 4.25. Call it 4.26. So it's a hefty knife. Probably a little heavier than I would actually want to carry, but you get used to it. Certainly lighter than a buck 110. But yeah, I'm liking that one for a cheap budget knife. That's probably, for a knife that's 20 bucks, it's probably my favorite modern piece. But we're going to talk about some other moderns a little later on. I'm just going to give you a quick little preview. This is a little bonus material here. But this is an awesome knife. And this is going to fit in the budget category. And it's probably going to get reviewed even here on this channel. You know, I do traditionals, but this one, to me, it's good enough. It needs to get some attention even here on my channel. This is the QSP Penguin, if you're not familiar. And this is the QSP. This is the A model with this brown check micarta. And there's some other really nice handle materials for this knife. They probably make at least 15 different handle materials, if not more. Well, then you got the titanium ones too, so it goes on up from there. But yeah, there's a ton of different options for handles. And I'm probably going to get another one with the black blade and then the blue denim. That's another real looker. But this is this knife is just stupid good for the cost. These are right now, I think when they first came out, they were probably around $45, $50. At least that's what I was hearing in reviews. I didn't actually see the price. But now they're like $35, $32 if you get them on sale, something like that. And see if I can clear everything here. Nice action on these. Super, super, super friendly to close. Oh. Yeah, QSP Penguin. This one, again, like 35, I think, shipped, something like that. So, easily within the budget range. But that's for later. We're not there yet. We've got a bunch of other reviews to get to before I start getting into those. But I've got some higher end ones too, and I'm just going to give you a quick peek about this one. I'm not even going to talk about it. I put custom scales on this, so this isn't how it came. These Flytanium scales on here. But again, this is out of the budget realm, so I'm not really gonna talk too much about those. But here's the final piece before I let you guys go. This one was kind of inspired by Jersey, and well, I was already gonna get it, but then whenever he put up a video, it kind of encouraged me to get a little faster. It's this sow belly 6.5 stag bone by Case. So we have a new addition to the sow belly family, and you guys know this is one of my favorite patterns. But you get the beautiful sheep's foot. This is the nice wide body sheep's foot on there. And I talked about long ago, it's been a while since I mentioned this, but because I don't really talk about Case too much, but I would never buy another one until I had the opportunity to look at the bottom of it before I purchased it. Well, I did get this from Shepherd Heels online, but I did have them pull the knife while I talked to them, and they verified that this did not have any gaps. So I went ahead and bought it, since they reassured me that this is a gap-free knife. And for the most part, they're right. Pretty happy with it. Did a good job on it. And I think most of the problems that Case has are pattern specific. I think there's certain patterns they just struggle to make well. I think the rust lock is one of those. But this doesn't appear to be a pattern they struggle to build properly. So there you go. There's the Case 6.5 Bone Stag. Tony Bow's Bone Stag. Beautiful knife. Let's see. This is like $85. Again, this is not in the thrifty range of under 50. But for a sow belly lover, I had to have at least one example of a Case sow belly. So this is the one I decided to go with. And this is my favorite handle material that they make. So I might be one and done. I don't know. I don't intend to get a bunch of $85 sow bellies. But, you know, that could change. So there's that, guys. But that's about really all I have to show you guys today. Main thing was I wanted to show the Blue Mule and just how good this is as a work knife. Really solid series. Makes a lot of sense. They did a good job on that. Pretty happy with Rough Ryder on the Blue Mule series. They kind of knocked it out of the park on that series, in my opinion. But anyway, we'll just stick around for a couple more minutes. And then we'll shut her down. I actually did that too, Rusty. I used the screwdriver to compress it and hold it. I did it, I don't know, for about 48 hours. Maybe I'll just have to do it longer. A real abalone insert with simulated mother of pearl. Okay. Yeah. Gonzo is a Muppet. Ganzo. I'm sorry. Said it wrong. Ganzo knives, not Gonzo. I like Gonzo. So you're right. I'm sorry. Ganzo. Idiot. Alright. Gizmo knives. That's it. And the pink one does get a lot of great reviews, William. $733 Gonzo. Now, is that with the axis lock? I'm not sure. Probably is. Great color on the bone scales. I agree. 6.5, my favorite bone material, or any material for a case knife. Sidebuster Juniors, yeah. I mean, I just feel like with the Sidebuster Junior, so many other options. You don't really need to spend what you have to spend to get a case. I mean, I'd be happy with an Imperial, but I do have one. Oh, I don't have any case series knives or canvas. No. No. Those things they're not my flavor. Yeah. Again, like I said, I did alter this, and it helped on this one, but not the black one. Because, yeah, it's a lot easier to pull down. And again, you guys are right-handed, so you probably don't experience quite the same, issue that it is for the left-handed, and I'll tell you why. When you put this in here to close that lock, what happens? This part right here, it's the part touching your palm, right? And it slides because it's slick. If you're this direction, then you got the little grippy corner here. So whenever I go to close it, I can't get the grip without it sliding down my palm. So I've just adjusted my grip a little so that now the meat of my palm's more back here and not resting on that. So it's just different. It's just different. You got these little issues that you're not going to run into if you're right-handed. So again, I have to say that that's a left-handed perspective review, because as far as right-handedness, it's probably fine. Probably not a big deal. I did not see that, Alpine. Are you talking about the... You're not talking about Rosecraft, are you? Spotted a stabilized... Oh, okay. So you got an official model number there. Stabilized oat scales. Well, they needed to do it. They needed to switch from micarta. It was just... Like, how many more reserves are you going to put out in micarta? Change the color, but you weren't changing the material. Benchmade just wants me to get hurt tonight, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, I could just take this clip off, and then I wouldn't have that problem, probably. But then I got to take the scales off, and then take the screws out, and then... I don't know. I don't want to remove the clip, because I probably will use it. So I just kind of learned to work around it. But I think that's going to do it, guys. I'm glad you guys came in here. Let me give you thanks to everybody. JK, Williams, Gizmo, Jose, Rusty, Benchmade, thanks for doing the moderation. Alpine, thanks for coming in. Who else have I missed? You know, when I start up the lives and I get going right into the review, I can't really pay much attention. So Robbie, thank you for coming in. Jason Brown, Jose Gonzalez, thank you for coming in. And thank you, everyone. In case I missed anybody, I think I've got everybody. But just a fun little live review. Skid tape, yeah, I would put a little. Get my son's skateboard out and put a little on there. But thanks, guys, for coming in. Hope you enjoyed the review and the chipper chabber and the jibber jabber and the gizmo gonzo. The gizmo gonzo and ganzo. But check this screwdriver out, guys. Pretty cool. Hope everybody got a hold of one of these that wanted one. And yeah, that's a nice addition to my collection. Blue Mule series. Check those out as well if you haven't already. Great work knives. Especially the Canoe, I think. But that's going to do it for my review and the live, guys. Had fun. You guys take care.